What is good, you two? What is goody, my people? Long time no talk. We're gonna see who comes in today. It has been a whirlwind few months. Uh, Sixers lose first round against the Knicks. Boston wins a chip. I'm sure y'all have seen my actual content. Um, Being out in the mean streets of Beantown talking to fans about their team winning. I know that a, a lot of us fans have been upset and mad at the squad due to the fact that every single e- enemy of the process has won rings. The Bucks have one, uh, Jokic has one, and now the damn Boston Celtics have one. That is crazy to even think about. Even the Lakers have one too. I recall back in the day when the Sixers were going through the process. The Lakers were buns too, and somehow they won a chip as well. So our team is buns straight, but there's still hope. I don't know how every single year this squad is able to pull out new teams, new hope out of their backs. Um, but somehow the Sixers have pulled off the impossible and signed Paul George to a 4-year, $200+ million deal. PG, Pandemic P, Playoff P. He is a Sixer. Um, the actual news broke was was broke was broken last night, around 2 a.m. The actual squad made more moves than just that. We also signed Eric Gordon. You may know him from the Houston Rocket days. I used to play with him on 2K a lot, and he's still a good serviceable player if he's put in 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 the right role. And I think that's what we are going to do with him. Kelly Oubre also re-signs for a 2-year deal. I think 16.3 mil, which is a massive, massive, massive underpay. I'm not sure how Maury pulled that off too. But that's a good joint indeed. And I believe we also signed Andre Drummond to a 2-year deal as well. Bring him back. That's a good jaunt for Embiid's backup. Personally, I want Paul Reed going because there's no reason to have him here. Um, but we can
Fact.
talk about that. And then we also signed our guy Tyrese Maxey. We extended him 5 years, about 200 mil, 204 mil. Well,
Yes,
well, well, well,
sir.
well deserved. It is the Max and Joe show, not Joe and Max show. It is the Max and Joe show because
Facts.
Tyrese Maxey was the reason why we won game what, 5, game 6,
Five.
game, it was
Five.
game
Yeah.
5. Um, After that game, I'm saying it is Maxey's team hands down. Of course, Joel is the MVP, obviously, but he lost the heart and soul title after that. Hands down, it is Maxey's team, and I do believe that the that our chip hopes still run through Tyrese, but we can talk about that long term. Anyway, long story short, somehow the Philadelphia 76ers have come back from the dead and are looking like a formidable squad going into next year. I wouldn't say that they're better than the Celtics just because they brought back their same team. extended them as well, which is crazy. Um, Also, if the Bucks stay healthy, maybe actually low key no, I would actually put us over them low key, but that can be a argument. Anyway, now how are you feeling about the squad at this point in time?
Um, I have a lot of mixed emotions. Going into free agency, I felt as though, well, clearly we needed pieces. But I just didn't know if we needed a third star per se, and the reason is because when you look at a lot of the past champions in the last 5 years or so, like, they weren't big threes. I mean, we just saw, Tatum and Brown and role players win. The year before that, we saw Jokic and Murray and role players
Mm.
win. The year before that was what, Clay and Steph and role players. And like,
Draymond,
yeah, that's another conversation for
Draymond.
another day. But
No facts.
ultimately, like, these I mean, the last big 3 to really, win a championship, like, I wanna say it was the Heat back in 2013. I mean, I
Mm.
I don't even know if it's, like, been that long, but, I just didn't want the Sixers to, essentially handicap themselves for the future by paying max money, to a big name like Paul George. Now, granted, given what was out there, Paul George was the best option for us, and I do think that we are a better team with him on the squad. I was hoping that we could have gotten Mikal Bridges and maybe OG and Anunoby. I think having those 2 instead of just having Paul George would have been better for the team because they're, younger and we can, grow with those players. But as we all know, we're in a win now state. Um, it I think it really just depends on health, because just like how Joel Embiid has health issues, so does, Paul George. Um, but I was really excited to bring, Andre Drummond back. I think he's been the best backup center that Embiid has had. Um,
Mm. OD.
Eric Gordon, he can still, make some shots. I think we're probably gonna use him more off the bench. Um, and Kelly Oubre, I was really happy that we signed him back as well. But I think ultimately, I mean, listen, on paper, we're a top 3 seed, top 4 minimum. But I think on paper we're a top 3 seed team in the East. And I don't think that Daryl Morey is done. I think he's going to try to add some more 3 and D players. Since Nick Batum switched up and went back to the Los Angeles Clippers, I know people like Robert Covington is still a free agent. Maybe we
Right.
decide to give him another chance. And like, it's just like right now, I think we just need somebody to play that 4 spot, that can shoot threes and defend, and a player like Robert Covington does fit that mold, even though he has had injury issues as well. But I think ultimately, given what was out there, we had to make a move. And Paul George was out there, and I hate to sign a 34-year-old to a 4-year, $200 million plus contract, but at the end of the day, it's like we got to win a championship, and we got to
Right.
do we gotta do what we gotta do. The contract's not gonna be pretty. Um, but but like I said before, we're in a win right now stage. So I think that if we can get some, tough nose 3 and D players to go in that starting lineup and to fill up the bench, maybe get another shooter. Um, I really like the making of this team, but also at the same time, I'm not getting my hopes up. I mean, we've seen the story before. Like when we
Every
signed
single
James,
year, bro.
yeah, like, and especially when we signed James Harden, and like you remember that first 5 games,
Mm.
he and Maxi was frying, even though we were playing against bad teams, but we
Right.
didn't care. We saw Harden and Maxi just fry, and we thought we were going to go to the chip, and it didn't pan out that way. So it's like we've seen this movie before. So I mean, Of course, I hope things work out, and on paper, we should make it to the Conference Finals, but we look good almost every year on
Every year,
paper.
right?
You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
every year, bro. Yeah,
On paper, we should have beaten the Atlanta Hawks, when Ben passed the ball. On paper, we should have beaten the New York Knicks on paper. So I mean, it's just
mm,
it looks good, but you know what I'm saying? I just gotta see how it pans out. But I mean, Paul George, the good thing is like we didn't bring him in to be the guy. He's not the first
right.
option. He's really not even the
Mm.
second
The
option.
second now, low key, right?
He's the third option. And I do think that given Embiid's injury history, if Embiid goes down and misses significant time throughout the regular season, him and Maxey, I think we'll be able to hold down the fort together to still get us a top seed, because we were a top seed when Embiid went down, and we went from a top 3 seed down to a 7 seed, having to be in the play-in
The
tournament.
plan,
You know what I'm
right?
saying? So I think having Paul George, having that third star, gives us that insurance that if and when Embiid misses time, everything will, just go down bad, down the drain. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent about it. Well, I listen, like on like in does Paul George make this team better right now? Yes. Um, but it's just because of me being a Sixer fan, and because of the history of this team, and because of the injury history that we have, it just like that's where this indifference is coming from. If this is
Mm,
NBA 2K, oh, I'm excited that we got, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
right.
this
It's
is
a
not
wrap.
2K. You feel me? So,
Mm,
I mean, we'll see how it pans out. Maybe this is the year that Embiid is healthy going into the playoffs for like the first time. And Paul George doesn't miss significant time, and Maxey's healthy, and but if like our core three, Maxey, George, and Embiid, if those three can stay healthy for a good 65 plus games in the regular season, and we can keep that health, vibe going through the playoffs. I mean, I like I think we can really do damage, but it just really depends on health. It depends on chemistry. We have to play together. It can't just be give Joel Embiid the ball and then posting everybody's weight around, or just playing hero ball. You know what I'm saying? It has to be, really cohesive, and that's going to be Nick Nurse's job. Um, so I mean, we'll see what happens. But Paul George can also defend as well, and we do need defense going up against. I mean, Giannis is coming back. The New York Knicks, I think, are actually going to be really good this year. You got
very good, bro.
DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson's
Very good.
only going to get better, and then you add Mikal Bridges to the fold, and Julius Randle coming back. You know what I'm saying? So it's,
I
you
don't know.
feel me? So
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to be world beaters, but I mean, I think they'll be competitive, and of course, you always got to look out
definitely.
for the Celtics. Giannis, you can never really count him out. And of course, they still have Damian Lillard. So I mean, I do think at worst we'll be a top 4 seed, but I mean, it just really depends. But we have the talent to compete. It's just a matter of us being able to pull it together, everybody being on the same page, and just everybody being healthy. If those three things stay in place, then we have a shot. But we have a shot every year. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks good on paper, like every year. You know what I'm saying? So we have talent every year. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Mm,
what makes this year different? And that's why I'm kind of indifferent about, these moves that we've made. But I mean, it does make us a better team. So I'm glad that we did something as opposed to nothing. But, I'm just not too crazy about paying a 34-year-old 4 years, 200 million, because if that's the case, then why did we get rid of Harden? You know what I
yeah.
mean? So we'll see, but that's just ultimately how I feel about it. But we just gotta do what we do every year. Just wait and see how it pans out, and hope for the best and prepare for the worst. But yeah.
My thing was like, it was always iffy for like me. Like um I always thought that like Paul George was like going to be our actual second option, I wanted Jimmy number one, more so just due to
Dang.
the fact that he and Embiid work well, and I've seen Jimmy actually lead teams, or like not lead teams, but, well yes, but like lead us in like ways that I haven't seen Joel Embiid do to this
Facts.
point, which is wild because it's like year 10.
Yeah.
I don't have no issue with like Paul George coming to the squad. It's very interesting in, in the sense of watching this like team for like years. I always been glued to free agency and
Yeah.
always hoping that the Sixers would always pull the big fish
Mm.
every single year. And this is the actual first year where like we actually get the marquee guy. Not
Yeah.
like not a sign JJ Redick or like sign Andre Drummond or like Pat Bev, right? We actually get the
A
guy.
9-time All-Star.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, Paul George
All NBA
is
player.
he's
Yeah.
bull. Like
Yeah.
on top one one could say top 10. I would probably say top 12,
Right.
but right there, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? He's like top. He's
He's
like
a good
top
player.
15. He's a great boy.
Well,
My
yeah.
thing though is, I feel as though the Sixers are missing a culture
Facts.
problem, and like I've always been saying from jump, even with the James Harden dilemma, you cannot have two losers leading the squad. And I kind of think that's what Paul George is in a way. I've seen him choke in big moments before time, after time. I'm not going to go into his in Indiana days just because he was young, but OKC with Russ, they should have beat Dame hands down. Like they
Okay.
beat like Dame, lost in like what 5? Got
Yeah.
shot in his face. Um, Moves to the Clippers, loses in the bubble in in a horrible fashion, losing 3-1. No, I'm sorry. Bulls came back on them 3-1. I think it was the Nuggets, and in Game 7, Paul George stunk up the place. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared to
Basically.
pair that with Embiid. Also, he gets hurt a lot as well. Um, we like seeing like him ba- basically tear his like whole left leg um a few years ago.
I remember that.
Somehow
Yeah.
still came back, doing his thing, but like since that time he has been riddled with injuries. That, or pairing that with the same type of player with Embiid, scares me. Unfortunately, that's this is the only real option we had, because once again we have to win a chip now. Um, Contract wise, I feel like it's a lot of bread, clearly, but the salary cap is
Mhm.
only going to increase year after year. So like I'm not
That's a
as
good
pressed
point.
off of that. I'm just more so concerned with like having two playoff chokers leading the
Mm.
squad. Now, that's like why I've been saying from jump too, this has to go through Maxi. Like
I
Maxi
agree.
has to be like he has to be the
The
guy
number one.
for
Yeah,
for for this to work. Of
for sure.
course, if the ball like if the game is coming down to the last second, I wouldn't mind if PG takes the actual last shot, but I feel like for the growth of the team, for us to like reach our ceiling, it has to
Max
be
better.
Max.
Yeah.
Like if Embiid is your number two and
That's
PG is your, I mean, low key though, high key, if PG is your number two and Embiid is your number three, then we
that's a good spot.
actually have some gas. Just because like you cannot, it's it's like clear. Embiid cannot exert that much energy in the game, and that's what he does, being offense and defense. If like Nick Nurse can somehow create a system to where Embiid is like third, then like we like maybe cooking with gas. Until then, it's still iffy, and I'm not sure if Nurse is even going to de like defer to Maxi being number one. That's the only thing that scares me. I can't be mad just because like it's time. Like we like have to be
It's
all
been time.
all in. We've like
No, facts.
tried the actual homegrown route with like Ben with Fultz, right? It didn't work. Um, what the hell else are we going to do? Like
I
it's
agree.
screwed. Either way, like once again, the Bucks have won a chip. The Celtics have won a chip. Jokic has won a chip. What the hell else do we have to lose? Not, nothing. We are already the laughing stock of the league. The freaking
Facts.
Knicks beat 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 the Knicks beat us last like year, bro. The Knicks. I've been talking so much smack on the Knicks for years, and they kick us out the actual first round. Meaning what? We got worse. We never lost in the first round, bro. Never. And like we legit got worse with a new coach. So it's like we
Now,
have to get
granted,
the best player.
I
Go.
I just wanted to say real quick. Now, granted,
Mm-hmm.
we did get cheated in game two. I
I mean,
mean, like,
fine. I mean, sure. Like,
we should have won game two, but that wasn't.
I agree. Either way, though, look. All I know is we lost Game 5 at home. At home, we are losing in the first round at home now. Even if we get look, I'm
I
tired
hear
of
you. I hear
the
you.
excuses at this point. And like, sure,
I
Embiid was
feel.
hurt, but like, guess what? He's always been hurt. So like, it's what the hell
Yeah.
are we going to do? I like what Maury is doing. He's adding vets who have something to prove. I like know that a lot of folks like younger players, which I get, but I don't think we have time to like watch them grow. I feel as though like we
Mm,
like need a winning now, get it out the actual dirt
no, for sure.
culture culture reset and getting bulls like uh Go- Gordon, Andre, PG who don't have rings is like going to be a good thing. I still think that we like need one more glue piece. I definitely wanted these that I like w- wanted Bulls to like get Clay. I don't know how we didn't. Probably because
That would
he
have been clutch.
wanted bread. I just I'm only going to be in on this team if Maxi is the guy, because that's the only way it is going to work. Like I I've just seen this movie year after year.
No,
I'm not
facts, bro.
saying
Facts.
Embiid is trash. I'm not saying PG is trash, but if PG is your number two, Embiid is your number three, and it works, it's going to be magical. Let's go to a comment. What's good, GBT 1978? What is good, my guy? It is championship or bust. This is the actual last crack to win a chip. I believe that the squad will be more competitive, but will not bring home the actual chip. Just my opinion. I agree. Um, just mainly because they always fold. Once again, we we have no
No, we
winning
do though.
culture, bro. So like I can't even give Bulls benefit of the doubt. But like that's why once again it like has to be Maxi to lead the squad. And, and I know I've been saying this point again and again, but seeing Maxi pull game four out of his back pocket, bro, I'm like, yo, like, sign this man. Like,
I was like,
Embiid, bro, we've seen that shit before. Embiid pouts, moans, legit gives the game away. And
he was
somehow,
turning the ball over and everything. I was like,
now,
bro, I was
I
sick of him that
swear,
game, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I was sick of
Embiid
him that
gets
game.
paid to throw games. I swear. All my life. I swear, bro. Anyway, Maxi pulls that joint out his butt. Meaning that, okay, we got a dog. Hands down. Bull is bull. How can we build a around him? And I think we're doing that. So like we'll see. Definitely don't think we're like top dog in the East. Um, but it's a
No,
good
for
start.
sure.
I like do think Maury needs to get some more pieces. But I'm definitely feeling better than like where I was a few days ago after Boston won a chip. Like I'm like good now. Like not well shit. I mean sorry. Shoot. Not good, but not as sad as I was before. Or like not even sad. Numb. So I think it was good. I think the squad won free agency hands down.
Yeah, like you said, like we got art like arguably the best player in free agency with Paul George. Um and like I said before, we just have to, fill the roster in with more depth. I did see that D. Anthony Melton, he signed a 1-year contract for 12 million with Golden State, so
Oh
he's
yeah,
out.
facts. Right.
Um
Mm.
and I did remember reading a report saying that we are expected to sign Kyle Lowry back, which I mean is, cool too. I
Mm.
mean, he's another vet who did play reasonably well within that New York series. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what's up.
yeah, and it's I mean, it's just so hard for me to really be high on this team because I feel like this should be a podcast episode where we're like, we're excited, we're going to go to the championship, and we're, what I mean, but it's like we know this team, so it's like, I mean, Paul George is cool, I mean, I'll take him, you know what I'm saying, but
Yeah,
it's
I'll
like
just take Paul George. Right. Yeah, facts.
um, but yeah, I mean, to your point, I think this definitely has to move towards being Maxi's team. Especially with the way he played in that game 5 in New York, by the way. In away game where it looked like the game was over. You know what I'm saying? Like
Because it was, bro.
like
Because it was.
I remember watching that game, and I think it was their guard, I think his name is McBride. Like he had hit like
No, Deuce.
a
Yeah.
yeah, he had
Yep.
hit like a free throw jumper, and I think it was like a five. They had like a 5 point lead, like 28 seconds left to go. I'm like, all right, this game's over. And then out of nowhere, Maxi was like, all right. And just pulled up and he had the 4 point play, came back down the court, hit another three. I'm just like, wow, this kid is. I'm like they like at that point. I was like, yo, they need to pay this man whatever he asked for, and then throw
Real talk,
10,000.
bro.
Yeah, I mean, so
Real
I
talk.
mean, I think that Maxey has the capability. I mean, he averaged like damn near 30 points a game in the
Mm,
playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm,
and I think he has the capability. He has literally gotten better each year. And um, there were a whole lot of questions when James Harden left was, well, can Maxey be that guy to Embiid? And he definitely proved that, especially in the playoffs where it matters the most. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
he did it against a tough-nosed team against the New York Knicks. So I do think he can, take a step forward, and really, be that guy. And I really do like Nick Nurse as a coach, and I like how he uses him, Tyrese within his system, and I think that this can be like a really all NBA, kind of year for Maxey. I mean, even if he makes second or third team all NBA, I feel like that's a win. Um,
Mm,
but he's a baller, bro. Like I mean, like once he gets his shot going, like he'll, you know what I'm saying? Like and then like his handles has gotten better like every single year. Of course, because of his height, he's a defensive liability, but he's very fast, pushes the ball down the court. And I think he's also getting better running the offense because he's more of a combo guard, but he was tasked more
right.
with distributing and spreading the ball around. I think he had like a little over 6 assists this year, which isn't that bad for a combo guard. You know what I'm saying? So I only look for Maxi to improve. He's always looking to get better. So I expect nothing less from that. And I would love if he could get around 30 points a game this year, but which again is going to require somebody to take a back seat. You have three capable 30-point scorers on your team now. There's only one ball to go around, so somebody has to take a back seat. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm,
it's once again this goes into chemistry and and that's once again that's Nick Nurse's responsibility to say, hey, like we're trying to win a championship. So all this hero ball and stuff like we have someone has to take a back seat role. You know what I'm saying? So if
mm.
the Sixers can do that, I think we can, be successful and make some noise this season. See what this comment says. Do you think this new team is aggressive or passive? Personalities, Maxi should stay being the point. I mean, like, I don't mind Maxi still being the point guard. I think that he proved last year that he is capable of being a distributor for this team, especially within the pick and roll with Joel Embiid, which was really kind of unstoppable to an extent. When him
Mm,
and Embiid ran that pick and roll, it was really effective. So but I do notice that when Embiid's hurt and when Embiid's not playing, Maxey doesn't get as much assists. I mean, like he'll
yeah,
still get his buckets, but he'll get maybe like 2 or 3 assists. So I mean, a lot of his heightened assist numbers is because of Joel Embiid. So I do think us getting a veteran point guard like Kyle Lowry, bring him back and just
yeah,
have Maxey
right.
just learn from him. Because
Mm,
he can't just rely on Embiid to get his assist numbers up because I mean, like I said, like he'll still get his buckets, but if you're going to run an offense, you can't rely on doing that in the system when your best player is on the floor. Because
right.
I mean, we've seen in the playoffs when Embiid leave when especially when we played New York when Embiid left the floor, like things kind
It
of
was buns.
like our plus minus
Paul
went
Reed.
down.
Paul Reed,
I'm
bro.
bro. Paul Reed gotta go, bro.
Yeah,
Like
low, yeah,
now
low
that we
key,
got
bro.
Drummond back, a person that can actually
Yeah,
rebound, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, it
Like
don't matter,
so,
bro.
yeah. But yeah. I mean, I think moving forward, I mean, honestly, I think at his core, Maxi is naturally a 2 more than he is
Mm,
a 1, but I think he can be capable of playing that 1, and he just has to, get better, but he's gotten better literally every single year. So I think that he can take a step forward in his facilitation as well, in running the offense when Embiid is off the floor. But he that's just another learning curve. But yeah.
and then ideal world, Maxey would not be your actual point guard. You would want him to be your whole two guard.
Facts.
I do think in this world of positionless basketball, Maxey just has to learn some of that role.
No, for
And I
real.
do think that keeping Lowry will allow him to to like do that. In addition, also gives us looks to where Maxi can play too.
No, for
So I
real.
do think that it's like good to like keep K Lowry back here.
Philly boy.
Um, yes, sir. In terms of your like first piece, do you think that this team is aggressive, passive? Um, that's and like once again, that's the thing. I don't think PG and Embiid are killers in that aspect. Like they're they're like more like Casper the Friendly Ghost type boys. Like not saying that like they won't drop 35, 50 on like your like head, but like just like Bull here said,
Mm-hmm.
they will fold when the going gets tough, and that's just a fact. Like we've seen this, we've seen
No,
it.
facts.
So this is this is why I'm hitting this point on the head. Maxi has to be the bull. And what gives me hope is I like definitely did see Maxi uh, obtain more of a tough guy,
No, facts, bro. Facts.
aura as the playoffs were, continuing. We,
For
we,
sure.
we all know Homeboy to like be, happy go lucky, smiling every single play. But I was seeing him like yapping at the refs,
Yeah. Especially this playoff
getting
series.
mad,
Yeah, bro.
saying like call that
Mad
foul.
Max. Facts, bro.
So
Facts.
I high key believe that he's like understanding that like he and like I've told now this like many times back in like let's say like what 20 like one Maxi is understanding that he has a chance to be a legend in
Bro.
this town, bro. And it's like
Bro.
if this man somehow and like that's why like I'm saying like this has to be like a prophecy thing. How there is no way we should even still be in this position to be this good. We only get Maxi drafted due to the fact that some guy makes a three in a game and COVID. If COVID de- de- does not occur, Maxi goes top 15 easy.
Mm.
Somehow we have salvaged the organization through him, and I just think that it's not going to work unless he is the guy because we don't
No,
have the
facts.
actual temperament to be dogs. That's why I wanted Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
initially because he has that like mindset. I'm an alpha. I'm a dog. I'm gonna get this joint. Of course, we like have like guys like Lowry, Eric Gordon to an extent, Kelly Oubre to an extent, who like will talk that smack, but it's not going to work unless you have the guy talking that ish. For example, Jalen Brown was the Bulls talking that ish, getting
No,
that
facts,
dubs.
bro.
Heck,
Facts. Finals
they
MVP.
Jay Bulls been on Jason Tatum's jock from day one.
For a grip, bro. Facts. Facts.
JB said like nah
He
boy
said, "This
I'm gonna
my
win this
team,
joint.
bro."
My
Yeah, bro.
and it is
And he won
Jalen
Finals
Brown's
MVP.
team.
You know
It
what I'm
is Jalen
saying?
Brown's team,
So
hands
yeah,
down. So we don't have that. I believe Maxey is starting to understand that like God made this path for him. Let's get
It's
this
his,
joint done now.
bro.
Now,
It's his for the
like,
taking. It's
like
his.
I'm t- if he wins a chip, I'm putting him over AI, bro. I said this years ago. If Tyrese Maxey brings the boys a chip, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Over AI. I mean,
Now I love AI. That is I
I don't know, bro. I mean, but if he
in
does win, I
love
mean,
with like ball, bro. Hands down. But nah, bro. Nah. Tyrese Maxey? Maxey?
if
Come on,
he
bro.
win a
Nah.
chip,
Nah, bro. Come
I
on, bro.
mean, I can't. I mean, one thing AI did, like one thing AI never did was win a chip here. But he did have like 4 scoring titles. You know what I'm saying? Like he won MVP. I mean, like, but I mean, given the state of this franchise,
Mm-hmm.
and if Maxi were to be able to win, like, a championship here, and especially if he were to win Finals MVP, and if like he puts on like a crazy performance in the finals, if we make it there, um, I mean, it's definitely a conversation to have. You feel what
And
I'm
the
saying?
fact that like
It's
it would
definitely a conversation to have.
the fact that like it would even be a convo. I'm just saying like shoot, this is him. Because there is no way that like a Tyrese Maxey even compares to an AI unless he takes this franchise from the dirt to a ring. And it's wild how like it is legit a possibility that that can occur. Actually, because if we look at where he's grown to, who's to say he Bull can't? Who who's to say?
I mean, yeah, like I said, he's gotten better every year. I mean, I remember before last season started, after James Harden left, I was saying like, "Yo, Maxi got to average 30 for us to win." And in the regular season, I think he averaged close to 26. And then
26.
in the playoffs he gave you 30. I think it was like actually like 29 point whatever, but 30.
Still counts. Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
um I think it's his for the taking. And if this offense can run through him, and if he can stay consistent with his shot, because there's games where his shot isn't falling in. And one thing that I haven't really heard a whole lot of people talk about, so I'm
Mm,
going to bring it up. In game
mm,
6 against the New York Knicks, Maxi, I don't want to say he choked, but
mm,
he didn't play well. He only had
mm.
like 17 points, and Embiid actually did show up in that game.
It
If
was too late.
Yeah, but Maxey
Like,
did get a couple buckets later on
mm,
in the game, but like when that game 6 first started, I mean, like, the only reason we
no
were
show.
kind of like, yeah, like, and the only reason we
Yeah.
we were kind of in that game is because Buddy Hield came off the bench and just started. He finally decided, okay, let, let me start frying. You feel me? But I mean, it's definitely a learning curve for Maxi, but I mean,
Right.
I'm honestly getting tired of saying, "Well, Maxi's young and that he's been
Yeah.
in the
No.
league
Yeah.
long enough." All right,
Like what?
I
4 years?
understand.
5 years now?
Yeah, like I understand he's
Yeah.
under. I think he's still under 25, but he's
Mm,
been in the league long enough. He's played in meaningful playoff games, including a few years ago against the Boston Celtics when we had James Harden. This past season against the New York Knicks. I mean, he knows the playoff environment. He's played in hostile environments like New York. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like,
mm,
so he knows enough. And it is definitely his for the taking. And um, depending on the system that Nick Nurse wants to have with him and Paul George now, um, I do think that we have to let Maxi take the reins and let it be his team, and just let everybody compliment him, and just go from there. So I'm really excited to. I mean, even if the Sixers don't make it out the second round or whatever, I still am excited. Like regardless of
Yeah.
what happens this season, regardless of what happens,
Uh,
I am very excited to see what Tyrese Maxey can do in the regular season and in the playoffs. Because even if it doesn't work out, I know that in the post Embiid era, I know that the Sixers are going to be in good hands. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and we'll eventually see if this new pairing with Jared McCain, who they just drafted, is going to work with Maxi. Which it may, but I mean, you don't really see a whole lot of teams, at least in today's NBA, with two guards
two
that
guards.
are
Right.
six
Mm-hmm.
that are like
Right.
6'2" and
Mm-hmm.
6'3" and under. And people will say, well, what about the Splash Brothers with Stephen Clay? Well, first of all, I I
And go.
I I love Tyrese Maxey, but he's not Steph. I mean,
Yeah.
most people aren't, and
No
that's
one stuff. Yeah.
like
No
that's
one stuff,
okay.
bro.
And also, people forget Clay Thompson is like 6'5", 6'6". He's not a short
He's a
guy. You know
wing.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Loki. Yeah, he a
So
wing, Loki.
so I
Yeah.
mean, I think when you talk about two guards that are 6'2" that are dominating the league, I feel like you probably have to go back to the days of maybe Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars for the Bad Boy Pistons in like the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't really
Mm.
see that anymore. I mean, you'll have like your Damian Lillards of the league who are like, 6'2". I mean him and CJ McCollum didn't really work out. I mean, they had kind of success in the regular season, but they could never really, take it
Really
home.
win.
So,
Right.
um and I mean, Jared McCain, at least in college, I mean, he shot the ball really well. I think it was a little over 41%. So, I mean, but at the same time, I mean, this season, being that we're in win now mode, I don't even know if he's going to get that much playing time. Um, I think he'll definitely come off the bench, and well, I'm really intrigued to see what he's going to look like in summer league. And see what he can do. Um, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think they may try the pairing at some point if he does get playing time, but I feel like that's still yet to be seen. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, when Maxey was drafted, he was drafted like 21st overall, and McCain was taken 16. So I mean, you can still find gold at that point in the draft, but we'll see. But overall this season, like I'm just looking for Maxey just fry, bro, and just really just cook and just like to the extent where it's like, no, we have to run the offense to him. I understand, I understand that Embiid is dominant and there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
times where, we have
MVP.
to give him the ball on the block. And I'm not saying
Right.
that we, fray away from that. But when I mean, we've seen it in the past 2 seasons. Like when Maxi is on, bro, and that shot falling, bro, like, his speed he can get to the cup. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I just really I'm just really looking forward to this 76er season just for that specific reason, even if we don't, do damage in the playoffs, because I think Maxi is something special. And if we run the right system around him, I think we can really do some damage with him this year. But we just got to see how these pieces look and see what other moves Daryl Morey is going to make, and just go from there. But yeah, I mean, even though there's a whole lot of doubt going into this season, and understandably so, there's also a lot to look forward to. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Tyrese Maxey is that bright spot. So yeah, bro, that's like personally what I'm really looking forward to with this upcoming season. So um yeah, bro, we just gotta wait and see, and hope for the best.
So I think that's a good place to end it. The Sixers make a few moves, acquiring Paul George, Andre Drummond, Eric Gordon, and they re-sign Kelly Oubre, Tyrese Maxey, and they let go a few guys such as Tobias Harris, my guy. Talk talk to you like soon. Let go Nick Batum, and the boy who just left. What
The Anthony Melton.
Melton? Yeah,
Yeah,
So I think overall we like upgraded B team.
I think
You
that's
know,
fair.
I
I
feel
think that
like
especially with
PG is an
Drummond,
upgrade.
like yeah.
Drummond is an upgrade. Eric Gordon is probably the same type player, low key, since Melton's back has been iffy. I feel
Yeah.
like
I
so
mean,
you don't
he
lose
can
stuff
shoot.
there.
He can give
Right.
us some scoring off the bench. I mean, I don't expect him to do much, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But he can definitely give us some scoring off the bench, for sure.
he definitely still like dropped. I think like the Bull averaged like 14 points last year, behind KD, Bill, and D Book. So he like still has some like stuff in the tank, especially if he's not being asked to like do too much.
No
And
fact.
also he's a vet, so like I once again I like the fact that we're like bringing vets with like something to prove. So far so good. Maury is doing his job, but it's not done yet. So we shall see what occurs with the team in the next few weeks. Summer League starts in 2 weeks. The Olympics start in like 4 weeks. Looking forward to that.
Yes,
And
sir.
then we like shall revisit the pain that is the NBA season come October. But so far, so good. I guess Paul George is like Paul George. So,
Yeah, I
but
mean, like I said, we're, definitely better with him being on the team. So I mean, it's just, I mean, a lot of teams have talent, but it's just a matter of us putting that talent
putting it
together
together.
to, you know what I mean? So that Nick Nurse has his job cut out for him. So now we can really see, like, okay, like now let's see how great of a coach. I mean, I think this is the most talented team Nick Nurse has ever had. Um, you know, as far as talent is concerned. So he has his work cut out for him. So, that's why we brought him here. That's why we paid him all that money. So it's time for him to go to work and put this team together.
Low key, let's say we like lose first round. Do you fire Nick Nurse? Because I'm low key saying yeah. Like low
I
key.
f-
If
I like
if we lose
I
first round,
like I feel like it depends on the fashion we lose. Like, do we lose because of Nick Nurse or do we lose
if
because
we
our
lose first
our
round, if we lose first round, do we fire Nick Nurse? First, first, first round, back to back first round lo- losses, which like we've never done.
do we
Does he
fire
get
him?
fired?
Oh man, I actually like Nick Nurse too.
I do too. That's my guy, but I can't condone it.
I mean, if there's better coaching options out there, I'll look at it. But the reason why I'm hesitant to do so is because I feel like all the good teams, they have consistency, whether it's, the same coaching system, the same
Hmm.
nucleus of players. So to always constantly change it, um,
That's fair.
I'm saying, like, I don't know if it's that if that's a good thing, but especially it's one thing if we lose it because of if if like Nick Nurse made a whole lot of questionable calls that cost us multiple games in the playoffs, then all right, then maybe we have to fire him. But if it's mainly the players, like if it's Embiid just doing dumb stuff, or if it's Paul George not having, what I'm saying, like it's like but I would be hesitant. I mean, like there would have to be like clear evidence that okay, this man does not know what he's doing. For me, what I'm saying? Like so so and especially in a series like we had with New York when you have a person like Josh Hart who is 6'4" on a good day, getting like
Frying
10
boys, bro.
rebounds a game
Frying
at
boys.
6'4", 10 rebounds a game at 6'4". That
And
has
then
nothing to
Deuce
do with
is
coaching. That has nothing to do
this.
with coaching. That's just player effort. So I mean,
That's hard.
yeah, and then for us to be up in game 2, and then for the Knicks to score, like, and then we saw Nick Nurse called. I mean, there's footage of him going like this on the sidelines, and yeah, but that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, because
That's in the past.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
people said
in the
that
past.
Maxi pushed off, which he kind of did, so that whatever. But anyway, like there would have to be some like overwhelming evidence of Nick Nurse just losing his mind and not knowing what he's doing for me to be like, all right, we're going to fire you. But like we have Paul George signed for 2 years, we have Drummond signed for 2 years, we have Embiid signed for I think he has a few more years left on his contract too. So it's like I don't believe in breaking that up
Yeah.
for maybe a couple mishaps or a couple missed calls that happen in the, you know what I'm saying? But if he has a horrible series, then yes. But I would probably say no, because I just think that we have to keep the same nucleus of players instead of always changing it every single year.
Yeah. That's
But
fair. That's fair.
we'll see.
Well,
Hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Sixers sign PG to a 4-year deal, over $220, I believe. Get ready for Pandemic P in Philly.
Playoff
Bars.
P.
We shall talk to y'all next time. Stay safe, stay blessed, and go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Peace.
All right, y'all.
I hate this team.
It's like it's just so